All right, welcome to Football Focus Weekly. We are excited to be back, and we'll be here, or some of us will be here every week. But tonight is it's a special night because if you see what's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, if you remember back, our dedicated viewers will remember back to the season finale, where at the end of the show, I was making an announcement and then it got cut off. But the announcement is that CFI and Football Focus Weekly is now we now have the platform to be on a nationally syndicated radio show. Woo! And thank you.
Getting paid now. We're getting paid.
We'll hold on that. But so the exciting part of that, and this information will come out as time progresses, but the show will be broadcast every Thursday at 3:00 every week, starting on February the 29th. So once that goes out, I will post how you can listen to the show in that format. But we will record it live, and then it'll play back on that national syndication. So very exciting, very exciting. I want to thank all the guys here, and then of course some of the guys that aren't here for building up this platform for the last 5 or 6 years. And the hard work is really starting to come to fruition, and the dedication is definitely appreciated for sure. Also, we haven't had the chance for the crew to do it, but of course you guys know that the engine has gotten the new head football coaching job at Rocky River, and he told me he was retiring from the show, but then he was here.
Yo, Pep, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like there was gonna be a little bit too much green and yellow on the show, so I had to balance it out a little bit.
Look at Suge tonight.
What's up, man? Same here, man. I'm here for the balance.
Hey man, it'll be all love for 9 weeks of the regular season, man.
So the Independence Rocky River game will be now known as the CFI Bowl. So
That's
we're not even in the bowl business. Look at that.
That's cool, man. You got a bowl without having to even do anything. You just got a bowl handed to you, man. That's cool.
Hey, Pep.
Yes, sir.
And guess what? The trophy got to be a big chicken wing.
Yeah. But not a flat though. I don't want any flats. I want a drumstick.
Get a drum.
Y'all drum guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I gotta choose, it's gonna be a drum for sure.
I gotta go with the flats.
I'll give you all my flats.
Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna eat all of it. But if I had to choose, it's gonna be a drum.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat all of it. Yeah. 10-piece drums.
If Q makes it, I'm eating it. I don't care.
For those that don't know, he is talking about my wife, Quintina.
I'm trying to go and cater some Rocky River football pregame meals.
You put that in the group text, and I decided to ignore that.
Because Pep, if you do that, oh my God, I'm on y'all heels. We like wings on the island. Hey, we need some.
Yeah, Adam, you missed out on that, man.
Boy, my two little boys are still talking about her potato skins.
Oh yeah, but don't worry, Big Web. No wing went to waste. Believe that. So.
I believe it.
I was so disappointed that there were no leftovers. Like literally. When everybody left, I said, "What we got left?"
Nothing.
Nothing in here.
Good party, man.
No
party, man.
That's why you have to put your stuff aside before everybody come over. Like
I was
like
too
me.
busy eating.
He was.
You put something to the side before the company comes.
But look, Webb, no lie. I told Pep, I say, when I got like 4 wings, and I said, okay, these are Webb's. Now I'm going back to get mine.
You should have started with 5. Hey, I always start with 5, man. I got to start with 5. So
I say, man, let me go get mine now. I don't want nothing to go to waste here.
Oh gosh.
yeah, don't let it go to waste, man. Eat it all.
That is too funny. So what we're talking about is, I hosted a Super Bowl party, and the producer and the engine both came and partook, and it was a good time. It was a good game too. Super Bowl was great, man.
It was.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Going back to it, and we got coaches on here. Let's talk about overtime. You win the toss. Are you taking the ball like Kyle Shanahan did, or are you going defense?
I thought the old verbiage was always defense first on overtime. Under the new rules.
Yeah.
Back when it was sudden death, cool. But when you guaranteed to get the ball at some point, it's defense first.
Yeah.
Me personally, I say depending on who I was playing against. Like if I'm going against Mahomes or Brady, I want the ball first. Or defense first. I want to go defense first because with these new rules that they repeated, that they learned before the game, and they said it before overtime, but obviously the 49ers still ain't understand. But I would have let them go on offense first. Now I have the duration of that first quarter and the second quarter of overtime to score. I put the pressure on them to go score first because now I know what I need to get. See, the 49ers went first, and they was like, the Chiefs like, okay, well, we need a field goal at worst. But we said, we got Patrick Mahomes, so we're going for the touchdown, so it don't really matter.
The first thing my boy said when they chose that was, why are they going on offense? First thing out of my 10-year-old's mouth, because he knows as a head coach, I had 4 overtimes. We won 3 of those. But you always chose defense first because you want to know what the other team is going to do. Like, did they get a field goal? Did they score a touchdown? Did they score a touchdown and kick the extra point? Or what? Like, what's our strategy going to be based off of that? So I thought it was a strange pick. It's been crazy to hear players off that team say out loud, really throw their coach under the bus by saying that they did not understand the NFL had different playoff rules for the playoffs, and that they had never talked about that in any of their pregame meetings or practice structures, which I thought was, said a lot.
Well, Kenny, I want to touch on that. Do you really, when you're at that level, do you really got to talk about that?
I think so.
So the Chiefs said that they have. Chiefs players came out. Maybe it's some gamesmanship, right? But Chiefs players came out and have said that they have an analytics guy who has spoken to the team about overtime situations. And they said that week they went over overtime situationals, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they were going to run corn dog with the shovel in that situation. And the 49ers said that they were learning about overtime rules by looking at the overhead projector at the start of overtime.
So they wasn't prepared, because I'm gonna tell you,
they wasn't.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. I've never lost an overtime game ever. And the thing is, I've always wanted to play defense first. For everything Big Shelby said, you want to see what you're playing against. You want to see what you got to do, because the pressure is on the person. If you got to play offense first, the pressure's on you. We won an overtime game this year, and that was one of the things, man. I wanted to play defense, and sure enough, that team fumbled the ball, and it was easy because we knew exactly what we could do. If we didn't get it in 3 tries, we was gonna kick a field goal. So I think you definitely. It's no use of them not being prepared. And Pep, we talked a little bit about Coach Wilkes getting all the blame, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about that, and I think Shanahan, I haven't seen anything where they're getting on him about it. I just seen a bunch of scapegoats.
Well, they're getting on him because he fired Coach Wilkes.
Yeah, they get him because Shanahan is responsible for three Super Bowl comeback losses. 3 of them.
One of the worst in the history of Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got the one of the worst in the history of Super Bowl, and you had this one. And I was looking at it like, see, any program I've been a part of, we always practice late game situations like overtime, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it hard to believe. Like, I mean, I know the players from the 49ers are saying they was unprepared, but you would think that you have somebody come and say, hey, in the beginning of the year, hey, these are the new overtime rules. And this is what you do. I would think that, like I think like everybody say, Steve Wilson is the scapegoat. Hate that for him because if you watch the game, I think they said that the Chiefs only had 2 Super Bowl drives. I mean, 2 touchdown drives, and that was a drive to win the Super Bowl, and it was a drive in like the third quarter. Everything else was field goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that sucks if you hold arguably the greatest quarterback ever when it's maybe said and done to 2 touchdown drives in the Super Bowl, and you get fired because of something Shanahan didn't do. Because none of the players on defense are saying Wilkes didn't have us prepared. They saying Shanahan. Nobody on the team knew the rules, and the rules of a game come from the top. The defensive coordinator is not supposed to tell you the overtime rules. The head coach tells you all of those things. That's unfortunate for them.
That's what you get paid for as a head coach. And another point I want to bring up, and I made this point online, was Wilkes wasn't there when Shanahan blew that 10-point lead the prior Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So at some point, what is Shanahan known as? He's known as an offensive guru. That's how he got hired as the head coach of San Francisco for his development of quarterbacks and his offensive scheme and his play calling, correct?
And that's the problem because we got Laramie Watson weighing in right here, commenting, saying the 49ers abandoned the run while they were winning. And that's a common thing.
Same thing he did. The same thing he did in Atlanta when they was up 28-3. They had that throwing verticals.
And by the way,
comeback, trying to get.
By the way, you have a franchise generational talent at running back.
Yep,
it's
the best running back in the league, in my opinion.
He's one of the best players. And then Deebo Samuel's got to be top 5 somewhere, top 10. So you got 2 of the best offensive weapons in the entire league. And you couldn't run the ball because remind you, Deebo can run the ball too. You put him back there with McCaffrey. Yeah. Hey, load him up. Put 2 back set. Let's roll. Stop it.
All right, Engine, you got anything else on that?
No, you guys hit on all of
them. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. 2 more people commenting. Of course, one of our dedicated watchers, Nikisha, who was also at the Super Bowl party, weighing in, agreeing with that. And then, of course, the first comment always is Kim Watts, who I put this out at 4:00 today, and she's still here. It's amazing. So
just know
good to see.
Rick's son will be getting some passes thrown his way too if I can get him out to play football.
Trying, Nikisha.
We tried.
Come on now.
We lobbied.
All right. So, like I said, if you're just now tuning in, made the announcement that CFI is now nationally syndicated on the radio. And what you're hearing now will be not streamed. What is the word? It'll be posted on radio every Thursday at 3:00. So we'll film the show like this, and then we'll have the radio show coming the next week, for sure. All right. There's some back channel chatter that is hilarious.
That's exactly where it's gonna stay too.
But coming up, we're gonna discuss another topic here. Actually, another 2 topics. We're gonna touch on some of the off-season coaching changes that have happened. Of course, we mentioned earlier that our brother, the Engine, is now the new head coach at Rocky River, getting settled in over there. I went to the meet the coach night, and I was ready to suit up, and I've been good for a quarter. But But Kenneth, share with everybody. I mean, what's it like, man? How you feel?
Well, I've said this when we talked last week, Pep. I've always felt that Rocky River was a hidden gem in Charlotte. So many awesome players. Every year we've talked about great players that they've had, big time players that they've had. But for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to put it all together. So I'm excited to be over at Rocky River. We have some phenomenal players over there. We have phenomenal young men. Not in the building quite yet. That will come here in a few weeks. But I've been over there for a couple of basketball games. We had a meet the coach night, like you talked about last week, and just been really impressed by not just the athletic director, Coach Gray, but the principal, Mr. LeGrand, as well. They have welcomed my family in with open arms. I mean, literally, it is 100+ hugs when we show up on campus there. Everybody there wants to see our football team be successful. They want to see the student athletes be successful. Cannot think of a better situation to be in than where we are right now at Rocky River and where we're going to be, hopefully.
Amen. And then Mr. Freddie Bryant wishing you luck there. Always good to see you. And of course, we all wish you luck. We said that said earlier, the Independence Rocky River game is the CFI Bowl now. So be exciting. We'll have to get a chicken wing trophy.
Hey, I'll meet him at the 50.
The crazy thing about that probably already exists. I guarantee you there's chicken wing trophies out there. I'm sure of it. Guaranteed. It's always just got to order.
If this wasn't radio, I would pull up a chicken wing trophy and post it, but nobody can see that. So too bad. Anyway, so open jobs right now. We know that Barry on the west side is open. Valentine Ridge, we believe is filled, not officially announced yet. And
they have a Twitter account.
Yeah, they do have a Twitter account, and they have been putting out tweets. What do you think of their colors?
Posted the field.
Yeah, but their colors are like a Carolina blue, orange,
and like a black a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think their uniforms would be fire if they came out with a black uni with it. Now I think I'm gonna be anxious to see if they got like a blue one or orange one, because I think that can be hit or miss. I think they have to go black. I'll get an all black set, all white set, obviously, then find out a neutral color for the blue and the orange, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it has a lot of potential. It definitely has a lot. It's like, if you guys haven't, obviously most of you listening probably haven't seen it, but think of the old Vancouver Grizzlies. It's similar to that.
Oh man,
Big Country. Okay. You talking about Big Country? Man, go ahead.
Right. I can't think about that's a name. Boy, wow.
What is the mascot of the new school, Pep?
The Wolves.
The Wolves. I'm glad. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I'm glad that we finally have a school that didn't stay with that whole alliteration thing where, the West Cabarrus Wolverines, the new middle school in Cabarrus County, the Roberta Road Raptors, that repeating the same first letter. Good for them for going away from that.
Yeah, but not good for having another ridge. Why are there so many ridges here? I don't get it. I never knew Charlotte to be known for ridges.
Isn't a ridge a hill? Isn't that what a ridge is?
I don't know. Someone out there, tell us what a ridge is. Like, I know I like ridges in my potato chips.
Those are good. Hey.
Yeah, those ruffles. Yeah, ruffles with ridges.
Yeah, a ridge is a long, narrow hilltop, mountain range, or watershed.
Yeah. Well, we don't have
long, narrow hilltop.
Nothing I think of in this area.
Hickory Ridge is not on a hill. Long, narrow hill.
It's flat.
It's flat.
Right.
There's a creek nearby. Marvin
not a hickory either.
On a hill.
No, it's not. Porter Ridge is pretty flat.
It just sounds.
Is it a river?
That's what people like to say it.
Is it a river over there by Rocky? Is it Rocky River? Because I know Mountain Island ain't on the island.
Don't be asking questions, Coach Dub. We ain't talking about Rocky River. How about the ridges?
Hey, Dub. It's only a bridge they got to cross, baby. That's all.
Mountain Island is not a mountain or an island.
I just said that.
Okay.
Mount Island's out. Mount Island off the. You won't even know Mount Island is on the road. It's on. You ride past it and it's opening. Oh, they're going to school. Keep going.
Sounds fancy though.
Yeah, it's like hidden in the woods, man.
Yeah.
It is tucked
You can
away.
ride by Mount Island and not even know it's there. Just ride by.
Just
what's
ride
that?
by.
Just school there.
Yeah. There's a power plant right in front of it. All kinds of stuff.
It's true. I was like, I heard there's a power plant the first time.
Yeah.
Well, another
crazy,
open
man.
job is Rock Hill, and we have heard in the past. It's been a while since this job was open. I think the previous coach did a good job down there, but obviously close to Charlotte, but across the border, that's going to attract a lot of eyes from Charlotte area coaches. What is obviously we know money is an attraction, but what are some of the attractions of a South Carolina job versus North Carolina?
Probably. I mean, to be honest, money is the biggest thing, really, because Rock Hill, yeah, you make a lot of money, but you're gonna be in the toughest conference in South Carolina, so to speak. So, a lot of the jobs in South Carolina, man, it's about money. Money is the first thing. Probably some notoriety and exposure, but at the same time, it's not a lot of job security though, because if you go in and they paying you $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, they don't want no more losing seasons because that's why they got rid of the last coach.
Yep. You get a raise, but those expectations shoot up exponentially too. They want
everything raised. Your money raised, expectations raised, your job security that lowers, but your headaches raised, your problems raised. So it's one of those where outside of money, unless you go to a prominent program, or even if you go to a prominent program, that's even harder. If you just try to go to a Dutch Fort, they got everything you need. That's even harder to coach at.
South Carolina coaches don't have to work in this. They don't have to teach, right? They can just coach football, right?
Well, I mean, it depends, on the structure. Some of them have that, and some of them don't. Rock Hill last year was 6-5. They went 4-1 in that region that you mentioned, Adam. They were in 5A Region 3 last season. So in that region, you had, and I don't know if it's been realignment, but last year they had Clover, Nation Ford, Blythewood, Fort Mill, and Spring Valley.
See, so their region is it's very winnable, but then when you get in playoffs, you're going against all the juggernauts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's one of the things.
So we'll see who gets that, but Richmond County, notable. Brad Denson, the former offensive coordinator. Yeah. Well, I interviewed. I went to Richmond County a couple years ago. Interviewed Coach Till, who left and went to Union Pines, and interviewed Brad Denson. Really squared away, very intelligent, and he's a former, Raider quarterback. So the community was happy with that, and I think he's going to do a good job. I really do. Piedmont hired Daniel Dillard, who was on the staff as the defensive coordinator, promoted to head coach, replacing Coach Braswell, a really great guy. We wish him the best of luck. But when you're going into a new program, what are some of the first things that you want to do? What do you want to establish? I know Coach Dub, you took over a few years ago at Mountain Island. When you came into that situation, which I believe was mid-season, right? What did you want to establish?
Just culture. That's the biggest thing. It's just finding out what the administration wanted from the job. That's the biggest thing. Just going to your administration and asking, hey, what are y'all expectations of me in this program? Mm-hmm. And you build it around their expectations. And that's what I did. They was like, we're fine with winning, but winning's not everything. We want to build a quality program where kids get an opportunity to do something after high school, have a plan after high school. And I just built the program around those foundations.
Very good. Very good. Kenneth, I know you've shared this before. Obviously, you shared in the last interview that we did, but for this crowd, what are some of the first things you want to establish at Rocky River?
Well, it's the buzzword, and Coach Dub already used it, but it's culture. You want to set the culture of your program, and a lot of that is getting your coaches on staff to understand what that culture looks like. There are certain nuances that I'm going to believe in that the previous staff did not necessarily believe in, or certain things that they were high on that I may not be as high on. But getting that staff to understand what the expectations are, because if it's not top down, the kids are never going to get it. And it can't just be from the head coach. It's got to be from the coordinators. It's got to be from the position coaches. It's got to be from the coaches that you're bringing in. I'm fortunate. I've got a couple of young guys who played for me who are going to come in and coach with us. And so they know what my expectations are as a player. And that's going to be easily adaptable for them to show our athletes what we're looking for and what I want. And then you got to get in with the kids, man. I mean, the kids have to get to know you. And I'm starting up soon. I'm not in the building yet, but we're going to start doing some meetings online until I can get there after school, until I can get there in the building, just so kids can start to know me, going to games, seeing me around, knowing that I'm going to be there for them, knowing that I care about their success, knowing that I care about the overall success of the entire school environment. But culture, I mean, that sums it up as well as you can do it.
Absolutely. Essentials, definitely. Big Shelby, you've been obviously a part of a really good culture at Shelby, for many years. What was really some of the keys to the success that program has had?
I think the biggest thing is like what Rob and Kenneth said, man, administration and culture. It's impossible to have a good football team if administration is not on board. Administration has to be okay with certain things you want to do during the season and during the summer. Everybody has to be on one accord. I find that football in your sport, football is a catalyst for the whole school. If the football coaches and administration have a great understanding and relationship, your school year will be fine, your coaches will be fine. Like the biggest thing is establishing culture and then maintaining culture. Because even if you have a school like Shelby or Independence, the culture was set by former players that was in the program. So then when you get those former players and coaches or people from that community to come back, they already know the expectation, and it's easier, like Kenneth said, with the coach you had to play for him. Now all Kenneth had to do is just keep molding them as a coach, because they know what he expects. So he knows if practice starts at 4, if I'm a player, if he tell my players to be there at 3:30, where he probably assumed he wants his coaches there maybe 3:15, 3 o'clock. So they already know those things. So I think that's the biggest thing with winning programs. It starts in the building, because if you're not winning 8-3 or 7:15 to 2:15, then you're not gonna win at 7:30 or 7 o'clock. So it'll be tough.
All right, good deal. Well said. Thank you, guys. All right, so we're gonna head on to a topic now that Coach Dub and I were talking before the show, and he got very fired up, and he said he had to save what he wanted to say for the show. So I'm gonna let him go first on this, and we're talking about recruiting, high school football recruiting. There's a lot. Like we could do a whole show on what's been going on with high school recruiting, from NIL to the transfer portal to the reduction of high school players getting recruited into college programs. But Coach Dub's going to talk specifically about an issue that he's seeing right now in high school recruiting.
Yeah, it's a circus out here, Pep. It's getting so bad. I mean, I hate going on Twitter. I hate going, because even like I have players say, you hear so-and-so got this offer from this school and that school. These non-committable offers, it's getting reckless. It's getting bad out here. And I'm going to blame the high school coaches, because at the end of the day, what that's doing for that young man, if they get a non-committable offer and they're posting, well, I got an offer from this school, and it's a Division I school, it's a Power 5 school. What you're doing to that kid, he really might be a D2 kid. But what you're doing is most of the D2 schools that's recruiting him during this process, because we're talking about class of 2025 right now, because 2024 should be signing or getting ready to sign. So a kid right now that's in the class of 2025, and you got their coach and them out there posting that they got offered by Power 5 schools, what that's going to do is it's going to scare away the D2 and the D3 schools that really the schools they supposed to be looking at. Well, he got a Power 5 offer, so we can't touch him, not knowing that offer is fake. So you seen a lot of kids that was in the 2024 class, Pep, you see them now, where they sign at? They don't got a home. How many of them kids contacted me, contacted you, Pep, contacted you, Kenny, that last year this time they was tweeting out, blessed to get an offer from Division I school, or you know what I'm saying? So we're playing a bad game by putting these fake offers out here. And what's really going down, this is why I blame the high school coaches on this, is a lot of these coaches are putting out offers that they know the kids that's not committable out to even keep those kids there or attract kids to their program. Oh, so-and-so's getting an offer from here, and you know good and well those offers are fake. Not only are you playing with these young men, you're playing with these families, you're playing with generational. Because if kids miss out on a college opportunity or playing after high school, that could tear down their whole generation, how they feed their kids one day. And we're playing a dangerous game, making it about us as coaches and having these kids tweet out these fake offers. There's so many different colleges I could call and say, hey, can you give my guy an offer? I'm going to tell you something, and they'll do it for me. But I don't play those games because it's either you got it or not, because I'm not going to play with that family. I'm not going to play with those young men. So at the end of the day, we got to stop this stuff because it's going to ultimately hurt these kids. And by the time signing day come around and they're not signing to the college that they've been tweeting out, and you as a coach, you're on to the next one. So and Pep, that just pissed me off because I'm in the kids business, bro. And I live
absolutely.
by it.
Yeah, and you know what you said there about 2024s, you know, you can go back through Twitter and look at 2024s who had Division I offers from these schools that were non-committable and that are now still unsigned right now. And it's crazy because you put them on a pedestal to where, like you said, some of those other D2 programs are scared away because they think, okay, well, this is a D1 kid. We can't, go after him. Or we're not going to waste our resources going after him. And then nothing else comes through. And then they're sitting there like, I thought I was this great, player or prospect and I was going to get all this stuff. And, now it's, we're at a time right now where there's a lot of kids just sitting there with nothing on the board, man.
And Pep, I'll tell you this, like, I'll tell any of these kids, if you want to know if you got a real offer or a fake offer, because I know some people like, do I got a real offer? I got a fake offer. Call that college right now. Get off the phone. Pick up the phone, call that college, say, Coach, I want to commit to you. And if they tell you we got to see you in camp, you don't have an offer. A lot of these offers are coming along with, hey, we're going to offer you, but you got to come to our camp. If you got to come to my camp, that offer is not real. Because I've seen enough. Because the offer is actually the end part of the process. It's I watched your highlights. I spoke to your coach. I did my research on your grades. I talked to teachers. You're good. You check all the boxes. Now you get an offer. Now these offers are nothing but glorified camp invites. And what I do, I blame now. And again, I'm holding my high school coaches accountable. And it's a lot of the young coaches that's new to this area trying to make a come up and put their name up. They should know better than this. They're coming in our area lying to these kids, and these kids are sitting here like, I got something that I don't got. And they're trying to attract kids to their program. That's what they're doing. And they're using these kids to attract kids. Because obviously, you can't recruit kids, but visually, if this kid is at school A, see that kids are getting offers at school B, they're going to go to school B. And this is the game that these coaches are playing. It's reckless, man, and it hurts my heart to see it. And a lot of times, I try to avoid from getting in conflict with my peers in the coaching realm, but some of it is quite disgusting, man. I'm not gonna call no schools out, but y'all know exactly who y'all are. There's no way in hell that a damn 1A school got a damn SEC offer, and you tweeting that stuff out like you know what I'm saying? And that kid ain't a 4 or 5 star.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, have you ever heard of that?
Not a lot. No.
I'll leave it at that.
Man, we got some other coaches that are agreeing with you right here. Coach Baldwin weighing in. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Too many early offers being given out.
And then I see it where, like, I think, it's very strange to me seeing kids that's like, they just coming off a JV season and they get like a Power 5 offer as their first offer, or just a Division I offer as their first offer. I can understand if I came to see you during the spring, then I offered you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids are getting stuff where they have no varsity tape. So what am I offering you off of? And it's like, now, don't get me wrong. Now, a lot of kids, it is a measurable thing with some kids. Like me, you see positions like you see positions like quarterback. Like, I know Kenneth know quarterback, man, even now, like, it's so hard for quarterbacks to get offers because of it started with COVID, but then this transfer portal thing. So it's crazy for me to see a 9th grader get a big time offer that has no varsity tape. When you got varsity quarterbacks that's been starting 3, maybe even 4 years, and coaches are still saying, hey, we need you to come to camp. Hey, we did a coaching change, so we need you to come back to. We need you to come work out, or what date is your spring date? Because we need to see you. And they have years of tape.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just crazy where you just see it where kids getting offers early. And I'm like, obviously, if I have a 6'5", 300-pound lineman, he may lose weight, but he's never going to lose his height. So you offer a lineman and things like that. But, like, if I'm a college coach, I'm not really going in to offer a quarterback that's played JV a whole year a big time offer, because that means you should have been playing varsity or somewhere else. That's what I would look at. If I see a 9th grader with a huge offer off the table, I'm like, well, why was he sitting here waiting? So it's just, for quarterbacks, it's crazy, man.
So many of these early offers are what they call contingency offers, meaning the offer is contingent on certain things happening down the road, like a corner growing 1.5 inches, a linebacker putting on 20 pounds, a defensive end getting a certain cumulative GPA. They're contingent on a kid coming to camp. Like Coach said, these contingency offers are not real offers. And Coach Dub hit the nail on the head. The problem it does is it confuses the kids and the parents. Pep, I've got a kid who we know very well who ended up signing to play Division I football. I personally heard him tell a coach that he had been offered by an ACC school. This was a Division II coach. And I called up his coach and I said, has this kid been offered by an ACC school? No, coach, I don't know why. Why? Because I just heard tell a college coach that. Well, when you tell a Division II coach that you got an ACC offer, that Division II coach is no longer talking to you anymore because he knows he cannot compete with that. He moves on to the next person. Well, this kid ended up signing with an FCS school 2 weeks ago, whenever it was now, but it was as a PWO. But it was because these schools that he was so much higher up, talking about those 24s who were tweeting out all these offers who were still unsigned, that schools backed away from them. And it was almost as if he had to keep on that level that he thought where he was. And it was because colleges were leading him astray. Coaches at the high school level were not speaking truth into his life, or him and his parents were not listening to the truth that was speaking to him. But I've talked about this with high school coaches, the last couple of years, Pep. Like, as high school coaches, we have to be honest with our kids. We have to have those real talks with their parents, because when a kid continually tells players, a high school coach, for example, continually tells players, you're Division I, you're Division I, you're Division I, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen. Well, why not? Well, obviously my high school coach didn't do what he was supposed to do for me, and it ends up causing resentment. And then kids leave your school because of that resentment, when all the while you weren't being very honest with them. You weren't speaking facts. Like, look at guys around you who signed in the early signing period or the second signing period. How do you compare to them? If I'm a 6 foot offensive tackle, I'm probably not going to play Division I football. I may not even be able to play Division III football. If I'm a 175-pound Coast Guard, it's going to be really tough to find a Division III school for me to walk home to. Like, we have to be honest with those kids, and we have to realize whenever contingent offers are those contingent offers. And Coach Dub said it. The easiest way to find out is, Coach, I'm ready to commit right now. But even in today's world, those commitments aren't even as valid as they were just 5 years ago because of the portal, because of all these other problems in the NIL and all that other mess that we've been talking about on the show for years. I mean, it is a wild, wild west out there in recruiting. And, it's something that I'm looking at coming back into. I'm like, holy cow, man, a lot has changed in a short period of time. I've got to reacquaint myself to this new normal that is so abnormal to the way that college recruiting took place forever.
And Kenny,
and the bad thing, and I think one of the bad things too was this thing, man. Like, you have coaches who offer kids without even talking to their head coach. So think about this. I offer Kenneth McClanrock, never talked to Kenny's coach, and then when Kenny's parents say, "Hey, Coach Weber, can you tell me about this school?" I have no idea because they haven't talked to me. So, like, that's another thing with recruiting, man. It's like, you should feel it's disrespectful to offer a kid without talking to the kid's head coach. Like, because the parents are going to call. It's crazy.
Any offer that was ever extended to one of my players, and that happened, Coach Webb. Any offer that was ever extended to my players that did not go through me first, I told the parent that is a huge red flag. Yep. It's a huge red flag. If they didn't speak to me, at least on a surface level, about your son, that's a red flag for the coaching staff.
It's almost like they're trying to hide something. They're trying to get around you. They're trying to work around you at that point.
Because they're taking out the middleman. Yeah,
because we can smell the BS. And Kenny, unfortunately, it happens in a lot of these D2 and D3 schools. That there's and I've seen it happen at bigger schools, but most of your bigger schools, they're going to call.
They've got the time and the resources to invest. But you're right. Division II schools, especially the smaller Division II schools with limited resources. I mean, I've told kids to be very careful.
And then too, to Kenneth's point, to your point about like how you and Rob said about being truthful with your kids, with the way these coaches are telling their kids they may be Division I or something like this, like, now all they do is, as soon as they get a PWO for a D1, they just want to hop on it. And I'm like, the way the transfer portal goes now, me personally, if I had a kid, it's no point in me saying, hey, I'm going to walk on to South Carolina, or hey, I'm going to walk on to Carolina, when I probably can go play for UNC Charlotte, ball out 2 years, then go to that school if I'm really that good.
Get the game.
But you have so many coaches saying, hey, Adam, you can play for South Carolina. You can play for North Carolina. Walk on, earn your spot. Well, now you're in a spot where transfer portal, boy, you might not never, ever, ever get a scholarship, because getting a scholarship as a walk-on was already a rarity. Now, it can happen, but it was already rare. Now you're talking about the transfer portal where I can just keep replacing you with somebody older and older and older and older, when you can just be that person that can just go play at UNC Charlotte, or go play at Campbell, or go play at Furman, get your film, all conference stuff, then leave if you want to for that bigger school. Man, it's a crazy game right now.
And because, y'all, these families are being exploited by everybody. It's no different than the recruiting service. Hey, come sign up for this gold package and we can get you recruited, right? It's happening on the flip side with the coaches. because the exact ones that's supposed to protect these kids are the ones that exploiting these kids for their own selfish gain. So to your point, Adam, you'll have a coach tell a kid to walk on at a school. Why? Oh, well, he went to D1. They beating his chest because it's a selling tool for the next class. It's no different. It's on a smaller scale than college football. Hey, come over here. You see, we got a ton of kids going to college. Look at our signing day. But is it really real? And then the kids, and unfortunately, the kids don't know they've been messed over until 3, 4, 5 years later when they get older, like, dang, my coach played me. And they definitely ain't coming back calling anybody out. So it never gets called out. And that's why I want to touch up on this, Pep, because it's a circus. And it needs to stop, man. Like, these fake offers. I tell you, I won't say the kid name, but I got a kid that's on my roster right now. You know how many non-committables he had? He had a ton of them. For one, I would never let him tweet that stuff out. Also, I'd never let a coach offer me for my kid. I'm just telling you. If a college called me and said, hey, we want to offer so-and-so. Okay, well, you need to talk to him. You're not offering me. You offering him. So right. I always let the families go directly to the source so the mom and father can hear that the coach offered. And then also I tell my kids, if you ain't been to camp or they ain't seen you move around in person and you ain't get offered by the head coach, that thing ain't real. Because some of those area recruiters, they're fighting against other guys in different areas. They're meeting as a staff and they coming together and going at it. I like my guy over here in Charlotte. Oh, I like my guy in Raleigh. I like my guy in Greensboro. Or I like my guy out in the eastern part of North Carolina. They're all fighting for that one spot. And guess what? Needs might change during the season. That college might have injuries at a wide receiver position where they had that spot. They was only taking 2 wide receivers, but now they got to take 3 wide receivers. It's so many moving parts to recruiting to just be sitting here getting played like this, man. But Pep, I appreciate that time to voice my opinion, man. It's sad.
Yeah. So to finish up this recruiting topic, which this will be a recurring topic on the radio show. So if you guys are just joining, CFI now is a nationally syndicated radio show, and that's what we're doing tonight. So with some comments here from Brian Lawrence, who knows this stuff very well, by the way. You can see on 247 Sports and see programs that have offered 300 plus players in the class, and you know they aren't taking more than 20 because they can't. It's simple math, and it's crazy. I mean, if you guys have ever seen the chart of the breakdown of offers given out and the top schools that give out the most offers, the numbers are astronomical. And I haven't seen one in 2 years, but go out there and Google that and take a look and just see what these coaches are doing to all these kids out here. Coach Baldwin again, kids also being hurt with early offers, then the whole staff leaves for another job. Absolutely.
That happened recently with Lenore Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I seen that happen. Yep. I seen that happen in real time with Lenore Ryan. Because they lost a lot of recruits because of that. But kudos to those coaches. But what happened was the Lenore Ryan staff went to Mercer, but instead of Lenore Ryan making a quick hire, they carried it out for like 2 weeks. And signing day was approaching. So a lot of those kids that was going to go to Lenore Ryan committed elsewhere because they didn't know who the head coach was going to be.
Wow. Talking about the recruiting services gold package. Coach,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Emily Foltz Taylor says, my sister signed up for the package. They talked her into it, said it was needed. All kids' parents do it, and she is so mad now. Yeah.
Man.
Sorry.
Yeah. That is
the money.
That's crazy. Yeah, please don't do that.
You should have. Let me say this to our fans and families out there.
All right, 30 seconds.
You should have to pay for recruitment. Was that quick enough, Pat?
All right, good. Period. So now we're going to talk about something for about 5 minutes, and I'll go solo on this. because this is mine and I want to claim it. And I do this all the time on our regular show. It's because when I start ranking things, people want to go after the crew. But this is Pet Man, Matt Morrow, if you don't know that. We're going to talk about who I think the top 5 2025 quarterbacks are in the Charlotte metro area. And I'll preface this by saying we're doing a big series right now on prepredzone.com in North Carolina. Where we're highlighting a bunch of 2025 players. And we just did a series on the quarterbacks. And I wrote about all these quarterbacks, looked at their film, analyzed them, all that stuff. So we're talking about in the Charlotte metro area, which is basically Mecklenburg County and the surrounding counties. So what I have, and I'll go from 5 to 1. Number 5, I've got Kagan Chambers from Monroe. He's a dynamic dual threat player. All 5 of these guys are going to have Division I offers, by the way. 6'1", 160. I saw him in person last year when he played Porter Ridge, and he helped lead a comeback in that game. Both teams were really good at that time when they played. He's really athletic, really good speed when he gets into the open field. And people told me going into that game that, his weakness was throwing the football, but I didn't see that. I thought he was very accurate. And he had, good velocity on his throws. So, Coach Soul down at Monroe does a great job year in and year out. And, Chambers, I think, is the real deal. I'm excited to see what he does in his senior year. And then number 4, I have Jared Lockhart from Porter Ridge. And, you talk about, everybody wants to talk about, Cam Newton, these days. And he's doing all his wonderful stuff on social media and his podcast and all that stuff. Well, Jared Lockhart looks like a young Cam Newton. And, the way Porter Ridge uses him is just, the same way Cam Newton was used in Auburn. A lot of spread option type stuff. He's very, he's a physical kid. He's really big, 6'4". He's got some good weight on him, but, he's got speed. He's dynamic in the quarterback run game. He's got a really strong arm. And I'm hoping this year that, he'll be able to display even more from a passing standpoint, but he's got several Division I offers. And he's the real deal, man. The absolute real deal. And I think the school's going to get a steal with him because even with the offers that he has, I still feel like he's a little under the radar from a exposure and recruiting standpoint. Number 3, I have Justin Little from Independence. I really love his game. I think, Coach DJ McFadden at Independence has done a great job in developing him. He really sees the field really well. He's really accurate throwing the football. He puts them in, RPO situations where he makes, the right reads consistently. He's helped turn that program around, and where they made the state semifinals last year, he has his share of Division I offers as well. He's a smart kid. He never gets, when I look at his film, he never gets, overly flustered. He's always in control and he's smooth. And, he's a heck of a football player, man. Number 2, Charlie Smith at Charlotte Catholic. We saw this young man when he was younger a couple years ago at one of our camps. And the quarterback coach came up to me and said, "Coach, I know he's only a freshman, but he's one of the best." When he was winning one of the top performer awards. And I said, "Coach, I trust you." A lot of people hadn't heard of him at the time, but people know him now very well. It seems like every other day I'm getting tagged in him getting offers from different Division I schools. 6'2", 215, strong arm. You look at him, you think he's a pocket quarterback, but he can run, but he moves to throw and make big plays down the field. His ball placement is excellent. Really great arm strength. And then to do and get that exposure at a traditional running school where they've kind of modified the offense a little bit because of his talents speaks to how talented that young man is. And then at number 1, I've got Zach Lawrence from Butler, who's been a really impressive quarterback for the past couple of years. He's done a great job in that offense under Coach Brian Hales. When I look at his film, he's really developed a dual threat capability to what he's done as a quarterback. Really, really accurate with the football. Can hit multiple receivers on all areas of the field. He's really developing into a leader in that program. And overall, he's got some really legitimate Division I offers. So that's the rankings I've got right now for the 2025 class of quarterbacks. But as time goes on, we'll see how those guys handle the pressure of a senior year, and see how they perform overall. Some other names to watch: CJ Gray at A.L. Brown. Gregory Fee at Weddington, who came to our winter camp and did a great job. He's the backup quarterback behind Tyler Budge, but he's a 6'5" kid who's got all the tools. I think he's going to have a great season. Grayson Harvey at Mountain Island. Of course, Coach Dub, Robert Washington on the show, knows him very well. Trey Blakeney at Huff, who has offers from Charlotte, East Carolina. And then Khalil Wright at Country Day. Was a dual threat kid who's done some really good things and did great things at our winter camp and was a top performer there as well. All right, so we're going to bring everybody back, and real quick, we're going to hit our last topic, and we've got about 3 minutes, but we'll hit it anyway. The top players you have ever seen in local high school football. I'll go first, and I'll let everybody else speak. After that, Quavaris Crouch at Harding. All I got to say is Harding won a state championship with him, and I think that speaks for itself. Who wants to go next?
I got mine is kind of, I don't know. I was thinking about this all day when you said it because I have a perspective from when I was a kid, then I got perspective from when I was coaching. But first, I can't let this go without being saying that Justin Little is the best quarterback in Charlotte, North Carolina. I can't let you go out without saying that.
I respect it.
As a kid, man, I think the best player I ever seen play football was Larry Raper at Shelby. I ended up coaching with him at Shelby, so it's crazy. Larry, if you see this, I always thought Larry was like one of the best players I ever seen, and Daryl Montgomery from Shelby High School. I thought those two guys were two of the best players I ever seen live as a kid. In my coaching days, one of the best players that I've seen play the game of football. Now I haven't been around that.
All right, we ain't got much time now, Adam. Let's go.
I'm 27. It would have to be. I'm gonna go with another Shelby guy, man, Jaden Borders, man. Just see how he takes 3-yard bubbles, 97 yards. I haven't seen nothing like that before.
All right.
I'm gonna double down on Crouch.
Okay. All right, producer, you go.
I would say I'll double down on Crouch, man. It just used to look like, children trying to tackle the Incredible Hulk out there on the field, man. And I don't think I was really serious about this. I don't recall him ever going down with one player. I don't ever remember seeing him go down, someone taking him down by themselves that I could in the open field. I don't recall, so it was just, the old term man among boys. That's what that was, man. So, and then I'll go back a little bit. I'll go Chris Leak. Just very.
We only got time for one now.
Dominating, but that's enough.
All right, thank you, Kenneth.
Well, since producer did a second one on mine with Chris Lee, the only other player who I've ever watched in pregame warm-up is Bradley Pinion. To see Bradley Pinion punt 60-plus yard bombs over the lights in pregame into the bleachers was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, not named Chris Lee.
Coach Dub, 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. I'm gonna go with someone that I didn't coach because I had coached a bunch of wonderful kids, but Mo Neal from Forest View. I don't think Mo.
Best you ever seen?
Absolutely, he was versatile. Yeah, Mo was the best.
That's a young boy too.
No, hey, turn the Syracuse film on when he jumping over dudes' heads.
Yeah, I know Mo. Yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah, he was a real
Mo's
deal.
a baller.
But yeah, Mo was a baller. He was versatile. He could play the slot. He could play running back. He did everything he could do. But Mo was definitely the best player I didn't coach. And by the way, Shelby, Grayson Harvey's the #1 quarterback in the state.
On that note, thanks for watching CFI Football Focus Weekly. Make sure you tune in every Thursday at 3 p.m. to catch us. Have a great day.